What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be hopping into the full AN fuel system of the 65 Mustang. So with that being said, we have to make AN lines, figure out our fuel cell, figure out our dual fuel pump system, and how we're going to route it under the chassis of the car, along with also the fuel filter and all the other goodies, and the fuel pumps. And with all that being said, let's hop into today's video.
Alright, so like I mentioned in the intro, we are beginning on the fuel system. We are running -8 AN hose straight from our fuel cell all the way up to our sniper. If you know anything about the snipers, you know that the two fittings that are actually on the unit itself are actually -6. So what I have here is a -6 to -8 fitting. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start mocking some stuff up. Now we're going to do everything hand loose just because this is solely just a mock-up. So I'm going to make sure that this -6 to -8 fitting that I have is going to work with the other fittings that I actually got for the fuel system. Alright, so moment of truth. We're going to go ahead and see if this -8 fitting will work with this adapter. Oh, it looks like it's threading on. Now let's check the other side. Alright, so we have our other -6 to -8 AN. We're gonna go ahead and take this cap off here on the sniper unit. Put that over here to the side. Check this out. Make sure this thread's on fine. And it does. Sweet. Nice hand tight. I'm gonna go grab the other fitting. Start slapping that bad boy on. See if that threads. Perfect. So now we know both those fittings that we picked up to adapt these -6s to -8 are gonna work. So now we're going to start with our AN hoses. We're going to start putting our fittings on our actual hoses so we can start getting a kind of an idea of how we're going to mate these two hoses to run all the way back into the inside of the car where the fuel cell is. Alright, so this is my first time ever actually doing AN fuel hoses. So my understanding is you take your, until you have it just like this, where it's just the fittings in two pieces. So what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up stuffing your hose into here, and there's going to be a little lip on the inside here. That little lip is right where the end of the hose needs to be. So we're going to go ahead and throw these in the vise. Alright, so we got the fuel line done. Got it on our -8 AN hose. Now I'm going to take the one off the sniper that I used for mock-up, and we're going to go ahead and mock up the actual hose. Alright, got the other hose, and now we got the other line. Time to redo this process we did on the other side. Alright, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and hop right on into this. So I started by removing the nuts and the little washers that were on here so I could release this little plate, because this plate is actually going to go inside the actual fuel cell. So I'm going to start by removing that plate out of the actual cell itself, and then we'll start by mounting the fuel pumps to the actual unit. Alright, so now we're going to have to actually modify the unit itself, because you see you got this long tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stick my tape measure in there, figure out how much depth there is, and then subtract what I don't need off of this long little... Alright, so I went ahead and made my lines on where I want to cut. This was my measurement, but as I started to mock up where the actual fuel pumps are held, I think it would be better to take this off. So I'm going to go ahead and cut here. If I have to cut again, then I will. But that's going to be our first cut for our first mock-up. Alright, went ahead and made that first cut. It's going to be pretty hot. Ouch! Yeah, it's hot. Took it out. Now we're going to go ahead and throw that back in the tank and see how it fits. Alright, we went ahead and we got the fuel pumps all wired up. Take a look at all that on both sides. Got everything already, even got the filters on the bottom. Now it's time to slap this unit in the actual fuel cell. Alright, went ahead and slapped the fuel cell in. So now where we're at is we need to cap off these breathers
They have 2 breathers on the top of the cell, as you can see, and 1 vent on the bottom. So I bought these ANs. I'll show you them, how we're gonna cap them off. All right, so the rest of the fittings have all shown up. We have a couple 180s, normal fittings, some block offs, some 6 AN to 8 AN, some clips, even got the 10 micron fill filter from Phoenix, the bracket for the fill filter. So I'm gonna stop talking. We're gonna pop these little caps off here. Bingo! All right, so this is our little Dash 8 block off cap. There's like a little nylon sealant that goes there, and all you're gonna do is just you're just gonna tighten this onto here with a hand wrench, and it should seal those from leaking, because we don't need them. Okay, we already got all our vents. They all. We've got that last nipple on the bottom of our fuel cell, so I'm gonna go ahead and cap that off too. All right, so we go ahead and take this. It's a block off plate fitting. We're gonna block off pump 1.
All right, so I decided to actually route the fuel lines a little differently from what I had originally thought I was gonna do. So I ran them to the back here, up against through here, past the catch can, and actually on the inside of the firewall, where you can see some grommets right here that lean all the way down here, off on the side, that run all the way down the floor. And they keep going, they go underneath the suspension cross member and all the way down the floor. They go all the way down the floor. They keep going down the floor, up here, and into, well, this really cool gasket. And I'll show you guys from the top on what that gasket kind of looks like. All right, and this is that grommet I was talking about that we ended up using to run our 2 ANs, our return line and our main fuel line to the car. And bam, look at that. Look how clean it was just for me to run those lines. All right, and this is where I ended up mounting the Phoenix 10 micron fill filter. It's got 2 Dash 8 AN fittings on each end, making it real easy for us to run all this Dash 8 stuff. Yeah, I was kind of in a rush, kind of in a hurry, and I forgot the film, but this is kind of the end product that I ended up doing. 180 right off the first fuel pump. The reason we blocked this fuel pump 1 off is because, well, we're only aiming to make 500 horsepower, and that's to the crank, so there's no need in running 2 of these fuel pumps, because I believe both of the fuel pumps are 380 liter per hour, which is just crazy. There's no much need for that fuel pump. The only reason we did that much fuel pump is just, you know, in case we ever decide to go do something stupid like throw an LS or a Coyote in this car, if we ever get tired of that power band. But yeah, this is a full finished product. I think it, you know, it serves the purpose. It's a very like race car, if you ask me. Super just purpose built, easy going, easy to you know, change things up. And the one thing that I really like is if, you know, for whatever reason one of the fuel pumps went out, I could easily just disconnect this fuel pump, turn the 180 and plug it in this, take this block off and put it on here. So I think, you know, I did an okay job. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and that's pretty much the fuel system. Now I still need to do a vent. I have the part for the vent, but just because I'm kind of working on something, which I'll give you a little sneak peek of the next upload, I'm mini tubbing the car. I have everything covered, and I didn't want the fill filter, or excuse me, not the fill filter, but the vent filter to get all clogged up with dirt. So that's why that's not done yet, and I know it's not wired up, but we're gonna save all that for when we rewire the car, which will also be a whole video in itself. We'll be completely rewiring the Mustang. All right, dudes, that pretty much wraps up the entire fuel system. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it gave you guys some ideas for some builds of your own. All right, and if you got this far, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, so that way you can stay all up to date with all the other stuff that we're gonna be doing with the Mustang. For the next upload, we'll be finishing the complete mini tub kit, also with all the accessories. We're talking pulleys, water pump, starter, alternator, you name it. Gonna be all done in the next upload. Thanks for spending the time, and I'll see you guys in the next one.